left me with the pieces. Now I'm gonna burn all the bridges between us. I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear my head. Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in us. They no point in blaming you, did not know. Oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, did not know. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I give you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. You know the spiel. Wherever it is that you may be listening, however it is you may be listening, welcome to another episode of the Sports Euphoria podcast. It's me, Dave, your host. Real quick, just going to start with it real fast. I apologize for not previewing Thursday night's game. I don't think I did it. It happens, watching the game, what happened. I mean, I was going to go with a lot of running backs, for sure, because typically what ends up happening is running backs always tend to perform better, or it's a running game on Thursday nights, especially if the team is coming off of playing on Sunday. That's just how it usually happens. So the running backs had good games. A.J. Dillon had good yards. Aaron Jones had the touchdowns. James Conner had 2 touchdowns, and Chase Edmonds had a touchdown as well. Love to see it. Did get a little nervous. Edmonds did get hurt with a shoulder injury, but he did come back and finish playing and looked really friggin' good. So, anyway, with that being said, we are going to there's nothing else other than Aaron Rodgers just saved himself with 2 touchdowns to Cobb. And Cobb had a good game. I would have probably said start Cobb as well because they have the most rapport with all the receivers that were being out of this game with injury. I said that completely wrong grammatically. That was just awful. Anyway, um, yeah, Robert Tunyon went down with a knee injury. There was another player that went down with a major knee injury on one of the returns for the Packers, and one of the Cardinals players is in concussion protocol for special teams. It looked ugly. He went in for a tackle on, I believe it was a punt. May have been a kicker or punt. I'm not sure, but it was on a change of possession. He fields the ball. I think it was a kick. Fields the ball, and he goes in for the tackle. He's flying. The scariest part of that is you see it every so often. I believe it was something Everett. Oh, I think it was Everett, the Bills tight end who got hurt on a special teams play years ago before Eric LeGrand. I'm drawing a blank on the name. Was hospitalized, paralyzed, things like that, unfortunately. But this player, and then Eric LeGrand, obviously, if you're from the New Jersey tri-state area, you're going to know about that. But even if you followed college football, you'd know about the Eric LeGrand story. Um, but this player for the Cardinals went down and instantly just flopped. I'm not going to show it here. If you are, watching, I do live stream again on Twitch and Facebook Live, so you can watch the live recordings there. But you can Google it and look at it, and I'm sure there's a video of it. He just instantly went limp. Um, if like watching it, I was like, oh my goodness, he wasn't moving. It was scary to see. It's definitely one of those hits that parents are watching with kids, or if you're thinking about having kids, or you want to have your kids play football. Um, what's one of those ones that makes you like a little squeamish and not want them to play a sport like that. Um, but a great sign was when he was being carted off, they had him strapped down and he gave a thumbs up. Obviously, he was aware he was giving a thumbs up, things like that. So that's always good to see. And then they had said it was a concussion. So moving forward from that, and the game, Aaron Rodgers had a good game, like I had said. Kyler Murray did not. It was a running back game for the Cardinals for sure. DeAndre Hopkins did step out of bounds on a catch, and he lost a touchdown because of it. Excuse me. So you hate to see that. Zach Ertz had a nice game. Christian Kirk had 4 catches for like 46 yards. So they spread the ball around. And then obviously the play that everybody talks about. There's 2 plays. One is the meme of Aaron Rodgers as he's laying on the ground. The other one is of AJ Green on a pass play with 14 seconds left in the fourth quarter to win the game. Kyler Murray threw the ball to AJ Green. AJ Green did not know the ball was thrown and then did not realize the ball was intercepted. So Rasul Douglas had intercepted the ball. Interesting tidbit, if you haven't heard so already. I believe about a week ago to maybe under a week ago, Rasul Douglas was actually signed by the Packers from the Cardinals. So it's always interesting. But yeah, so that's that game. Hopefully if you had Edmonds or James Conner or Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon, they did do well. Aaron Rodgers probably got you around 20 points if you have a 6-point per passing touchdown league. Sorry if I'm all nasally. I do apologize. But yeah, overall game, not a good yardage game for Rodgers, under 200, 2 TDs. So but let's go to, we're going to start to preview the games. We're going to go with the Jets Bengals first, unfortunately. Nothing really too crazy here. You're going to start the usual players for the Bengals: Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase. If you're weak in tight end, you're probably going to be playing CJ Uzomah, depending on who your tight ends are. So, especially with, like Waller on a bye, Andrews on a bye, you might be looking for somebody. So you could do that. You could start Uzomah if needed, if there's not other options out there, preferably somebody who's probably going to have more of a target share, I would say, somebody who's more about the offense. Dallas Goedert, maybe TJ Hawkinson, Mike Gesicki, maybe if you're desperate in Evan Ingram over Uzama, but I don't know how I'd feel about that. But those kind of, players I'd look for. Ricky Seals-Jones, Noah Fant, Dan Arnold. I like those kind of guys over CJ. So, Jets, you're probably just really starting Michael Carter if need be, if you're desperate, just because it's probably going to be a blowout. So he's going to get you receptions. If they try to run the ball to keep the time of possession, it's going to be Carter. However, I don't think that they would actually try to do something that would win the game, so I don't see them running the ball that much. So, like I said, we shall see what happens in this game. But you're going to start all of the Bengals that you would normally start. I am also starting Samaje Perine in one of my leagues because I'm in a very, very tough situation with my running backs. If I do mute or go quiet, I'm just going to be sneezing, so I do apologize about that. But I have Samaje Perine because I have no running backs. I have Chase Edmonds as my starter and Saquon Barkley. I had also J.K. Dobbins in a dynasty league, but everybody knows what happened to J.K. Dobbins. Then I had Justice Hill. We know what happened there, so on and so forth. So you might be wondering, why don't you have anybody else? Well, I drafted. It's a dynasty league, so I put J.K. Dobbins, Chase Edmonds, Saquon Barkley. 3 running backs. You rotate them on buys. You're good to go. Super flex league. Shit happens. So I have Devontae Freeman. He's on a buy. I also have Samaje Perine, Travis Etienne, these types of players. Perine is projected in my one league 1.87 points. I do not believe him to get 1.87 points. I believe him to probably do a lot more of the load because they're playing the Jets. And they may want to try to just kind of save Joe Mixon. If they get into a big lead, they could see more carries, but they don't want to get Joe Mixon hurt. Obviously, he's the more talented back. So I'm praying that Samaje Perine can stay a little hot. He's been averaging over 4 yards a carry, over 4.3, I believe, a carry. He's been looking a lot better with a good team that's running the ball, but they're also respecting the pass, so they're not stacking the box as much. And if they stack the box with Joe Mixon, it allows more one-on-one opportunities for Jamar Chase. And he's shown everybody he can catch the ball. So we know how that goes. So we'll see how it goes. But that's who you're pretty much starting in those leagues. In this game for right now. Listen to me. Sheesh. All right. Next game, we are going to go with actually, I want to see something real quick. This might be a little. Yes, better. Panthers Falcons. You're not starting anybody except probably DJ Moore and Chuba Hubbard, if need be. Chuba Hubbard, if you don't have a deep flex, if you had Miles Sanders and you couldn't get Kenneth Gainwell, I like Chuba Hubbard just from he's the back. Yeah, they have Royce Freeman, but it's Royce Freeman. I don't expect much from him. Hubbard's shown as the games have gone on, he's been improving steadily and he's feeling more and more confident. So you're happy to see that. He was a Heisman candidate early in college a couple of years back. So he is a talented running back. And the Panthers do like him. You're going to start DJ Moore just because of who he is and the numbers he's put up. They've been their most consistent receiver so far. You're not starting Sam Darnold by any stretch of the imagination. Panthers. Daniel Jones exposed them with no weapons offensively. Yeah, it was a sloppy game. A lot of short fields, a lot of 3-and-outs. So the possession game was good. So you like to see that. But the Falcons have more weapons right now than the Giants did. Cordell Patterson, Russell Gage, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts. Love me some Kyle Pitts. He's probably their top target. I have him in a couple leagues. You're starting them. You would have said start Matt Ryan over Aaron Rodgers just because of the situation Rodgers was in. If you started Rodgers thinking he was going to do Rodgers-esque things, he did get you 2 touchdowns. That definitely did save you because he was under 190 passing yards. Technically even under 185 as he had 184. So You're going to start Cordell Patterson. You're going to start Calvin Ridley because of where you took him. I like him to maybe have a better game here, but Matt Ryan feels so comfortable with Kyle Pitts, the big body, like the Julio Jones body, the Tony Gonzalez body. Matt Ryan has shown that he enjoys the bigger bodied receivers. Not saying Calvin Ridley's not a bigger body receiver, but he's no Julio Jones and he's no Kyle Pitts. Like Julio Jones, Tony Gonzalez, those types of people, Matt Ryan has always seen success with. So Kyle Pitts is broken out of his shell. He's here to stay. He was always going to be here to stay. It was just a matter of when he was going to break out, and he's shown you he can do it all except block. So I think they don't have blocking stats in fantasy football because you wouldn't want him then. Next, we're going Bills-Dolphins. Bills-Dolphins. This is probably going to be an ugly game considering the first one was atrocious. It was 35-0 or 40-0, or I think that was the next week against the Texans. Buffalo won 40-0. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm really only starting. I don't feel good about Tua, but they're going to be down a lot, and they're going to have to pass the ball. So I like Gaskin coming out of the backfield a lot this game, like he did against Tampa Bay. He's shown he can play. I still like Gesicki, and I still like Jalen Waddle. That's really it. They're going to get the ball to Waddle. He's going to probably have one of those 12-catch games for 30 yards, but he's at least going to get you 12 points. So, Gesicki's shown he's been playing a lot of wide receiver. He's their big body guy. Go up, get the ball, red zone target. And like I said, Gaskin, I think they're going to try to run the ball to control the clock, but I think they're also going to try to do some little swing passes and dump offs to try to, again, be an extension of the run game. We'll see how it goes. And again, I am sorry. I'm just so congested right now. And I just really don't know why. I have what I guess you'd call seasonal allergies. So as the atmospheric pressure changes, barometric pressure, I think. I don't remember. I'm drawing a blank because I'm delusional right now. It affects my sinuses and I get all nasally and congested. But it's even in the winter, in the spring, in the fall, I get like this. So I just said do. I do apologize. That's who you're really starting for the Dolphins. Like I said, Tua, if you're dead, I'm starting Tua over Jimmy G, Justin Fields, Big Ben, Case Keenum, Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson. You're clearly not starting those guys. So I'd probably even start Tua over Ryan Tannehill. Tua over Geno, Tua over Heineke. That's where I'm going with that. So that's where I would go. Next, you're starting every single Bills player known to man. It's hard for me to say to start Devin Singletary or start Zach Moss over Devin Singletary just for the simple fact of just when you think it's Zach Moss's backfield, they show a little bit more of Devin Singletary. And when you think it might be Singletary, it's going to be Zach Moss. Now, I think they're just going to blow them out and they're going to try to run the ball later in the game. So my estimation, I think you're safe. I still feel that the guy to go with is Zach Moss. He's the goal line guy. He's the short yardage guy. He's the important downs, crucial downs guy. That is who it is. That's who their guy is, I should say. So I think Zach Moss, Josh Allen, obviously. There's no Danny Knox. There's no Knox. Think of Dalton Schultz. There's no Knox. Knox is not playing, so I expect more to come out of the receivers. So you're going to get more Stephon Diggs. You're going to get more Emmanuel Sanders. And Josh Allen loves him some Emmanuel Sanders. He loves Emmanuel Sanders so much, it's hurt Stephon Diggs' numbers. It's bad to say and hard to say and sad to say. But Sanders at 34 has been looking good. He's been looking super fresh. Love to see it. And I think Cole Beasley's going to have a little bit of a bigger game with no tight end there on crucial situations. I think you're going to see some bigger things with Cole Beasley there. Just from a reception standpoint, I still think you're probably going to have Allen run for some touchdowns if they're closer. He'll probably hit Sanders again because they like to, Sanders is really good at finding a way to get open in the red zone. So just load them up, please. Next, we have San Francisco and Chicago, the Bears. The Bears. We are not starting Jimmy G, not starting Justin Fields, not starting Darnell Mooney unless you're super desperate. Not starting Allen Robinson. You are starting one person and one person only, and that is Khalil Herbert. And that's it. You might think about Cole Kmet. I like Cole Kmet over over Allen Robinson, over Robbie Anderson. But I'm not starting him anymore at this point. I want to see some more consistency from him. You would think that the tight end is the young quarterback's best friend. So until Fields sees that he can trust the tight end and throw it to the tight end, I'm just going to go with Herbert. San Francisco, Deebo Samuel, Elijah Mitchell. That is it. That is all. Good night. I don't want to touch this game with a 10-foot pole. Unfortunately, it has to be televised. Unfortunately. Hopefully, we get Panthers Falcons on Fox. If not, I am sorry. Oh, actually, might get Eagles Lions on Fox if you're in the New Jersey area. So, I don't want to touch this game with a 10-foot ball again. Like I said, maybe you start the Bears defense because it's Jimmy G, but I won't. Nothing. Or they're just both defenses because it's going to be an absolute shit show. Next, Steelers Browns. Nick Chubb is supposed to be playing as of right now, as everything's been going on. You're supposed to get Nick Chubb. Dearness Johnson is a backup. Kareem Hunt situation. He showed he can play. He's shown the coaching staff that he has the ability to play well. You expect the same kind of split from Chubb and Dearness Johnson. However, I also expect to see a little bit of a bigger split in Johnson's favor for the simple standpoint of Nick Chubb is going to be still coming back from this injury, and if they get a lead or if Dearness has the hot hand, they're going to keep it that way. Obviously, you're not going to bench Chubb if he's active because of the simple fact that he can just take one to the house at any point in time. So, keep that in mind. Other than that, you're not starting Odell. I don't even know if he's playing. You're not starting. Maybe you're starting Jarvis. I don't have an issue with Jarvis. Because in my estimation, Jarvis is like the Adam Thielen type player. In Minnesota, when Case Keenum was there, Thielen did have good numbers, but he did kind of really enjoy throwing it to Stephon Diggs a lot. But one of the things about the Browns, and I think I talked about this last week, that I like about this situation is, I don't think Baker Mayfield is the future. I think he'll be like a Mark Sanchez type journeyman quarterback, game manager type. So the worst thing to happen to him is getting hurt and Case Keenum taking over, because Case Keenum, to my understanding, the head coach of the Browns is the former quarterback's coach, or was involved in Minnesota when Case Keenum was there. And Pat Shurmur, who is the OC in Minnesota, is the OC in Cleveland. So Case Keenum understands the offense. He knows what they're trying to do. They have Nick Chubb. They had Dalvin Cook. There's similarities here, okay? So Case Keenum is a professional football player. He's a professional's professional. He's going to go in and he's going to do his job. Their defense has been out of this world, and the Steelers' offensive line has been absolutely atrocious. I think Big Ben gets hurt this game, and I think he ends up getting slammed by Myles Garrett, and it's not going to be pretty. You're going to end up seeing either Duck Hodges or Mason Rudolph. Well, probably not Mason Rudolph for any of you that remember. Please Google Mason Rudolph and Myles Garrett. Thank you. But yeah, I'm not starting anybody from the Browns except for the two running backs. That's really it. For the Steelers, you're going to start, obviously, Najee Harris. You're going to start Deontay Johnson. And you are also going to probably superflex or flex Chase Claypool. And if you need a tight end, Pat Freiermuth has really been coming into his own and building trust for Ben. And I think that that's important, because if Ben needs to get rid of the ball quickly, he's going to look for that safety blanket, which 9 times out of 10 is the tight end or the running back. So if you need a tight end for a certain situation, I like Freiermuth over Cole Kmet, over Hawkinson, over any Titans tight end, over Mo Alley Cox. So that's kind of where I like Pat Freiermuth. I like Claypool this week because I think that they're going to end up trying to really kind of contain Deontay Johnson. So I think you're going to see a bigger game from Claypool and Freiermuth than you will from Deontay Johnson. However, again, Deontay Johnson has the ability to just get behind the defense on a blown coverage, Ben hits him, or a little screenplay, take it to the house. You drafted Deontay Johnson to be your starter. You're starting him. You're not benching him. You're not going to start him. I'm sorry. So, just saying, if you're in a situation you have Chase Claypool on your team and you're not sure if you should play like Chase Claypool or Brandon Cooks, Chase Claypool, um, Chase Claypool over Jacoby Myers, Chase Claypool over the Jaguars receivers, Chase Claypool over Tyler Lockett, Chase Claypool over Marquez Callaway, those kind of things. So yeah, excuse me. That's what I think about the Steelers-Browns game. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, Eagles-Lions. For the life of me, I am hoping that Jalen Hurts can actually do something this game. And he can actually, sorry for the sniffling, like I said, can show that he can be a good passer, have an above 60% completion percentage. I think if that happens, you'll see that Philadelphia coaching staff, really starts to trust him more. This is the game. This is your get right game, people call it. This is where you kind of like find yourself again. You get more confidence. Unfortunately, it's the Lions, and the Lions have basically been this for their entire existence. It's so sad because if Miles Sanders did not get hurt, and I know if my one league mate is listening to this at some point or watching, he's cursing me out. He wanted Gaskin. I wanted Sanders, and Sanders, per yard average, if he would have just touched the ball 16 times, he would be probably a top running back in the league right now. I don't know why Sirianni's doing this to him. I don't know if he's trying to show that Jalen Hurts is really bad or if he's trying to get his own people in there and show the team that they're not good with the other people. I don't get it. I don't, but I know my league mate, my buddy Zoob, he's cursing me out right now. I think we're trading Sanders away as well. I'll talk about that in a little bit. I want to finalize it to make sure it went through, and I'll tell you guys about a trade that we made. He made it. He initiated it. He ran it past me. I liked it. I was down with it. We executed it. But yeah, so Eagles, I am in a predicament right now in my one league, and I'm going to try to use this to give you some sort of a visual to, if you're listening, to kind of think about this, or even if you're watching. I have Kadarius Toney, and I'm going to get to this when we talk about it with the Giants preview game last. Kadarius Toney was shown today that he was practicing with the team. That is a fantastic sign, especially against the Chiefs that have a terrible defense and can't cover, couldn't cover a bed if they were a sheet. All right, it ain't happening. I don't know if I should start Kadarius Toney over Devontae Smith. I think this is a game where Devontae Smith can kind of have his breakout game. I really don't know what to do. I'm starting Emmanuel Sanders as well in that same league. I want to start Toney over Sanders, but Toney plays on Monday night. So I need to know tomorrow or Sunday at 10 o'clock that Toney's playing, because I'm loading Toney up in every league I have him at that point, because it's going to probably be a shootout and Toney's going to go off. Just saying. That is my gut call. That's my biased call. That's my everything call. Is if Toney gets a clear bill of health and his ankle is okay, I'm firing it up on everything. But that's if they're game time decision, not going to do it. It still scares me because God forbid he catches the ball once and he gets tackled wrong or goes to cut and falls down, then he's done for the rest of the game. If it's a game time decision or they're leaning towards they don't know yet, I'm going Devontae Smith. So that's kind of where I am with that right now. I took Devontae Smith in his dynasty league because I thought he would do really well. I really honestly did. And it's just been disappointing. I mean, he has 32 catches for 406 yards and just one touchdown, and that touchdown came in week 1. So we'll see how it goes. Deeper leagues, I like Kenneth Gainwell over Boston Scott, and they did elevate Jordan Howard from the practice squad to be available for this game. I really am not crazy about Jordan Howard unless you're in like an 18, 16 team league where you would need Jordan Howard. I like Gainwell for the receiving aspect of it. Boston Scott obviously for the rushing aspect, but Gainwell has shown you that he can run as well, but he's a lot smaller in frame and size than Boston Scott, so maybe those goal line carries go to Scott. You don't know. We'll see how it goes. They could work up some wrinkles where they keep Gainwell in and they give him some trickery and he gets the ball and he, scores a touchdown. So, I don't know. I like Gainwell a lot too. We got him in the one league that we're trading Sanders in, so I feel good about that because I think if Gainwell shows you he can play even when Sanders comes back, because Sanders was placed on the IR, that I think that that's very beneficial because I think that it's going to be more of a split then, and I think that they'll be okay. But we'll see. Time will tell. Anyway, Lions. You have Hawkinson, you're going to play him just because he's TJ Hawkinson, and he's a good, phenomenal tight end and a phenomenal athlete. And then Khalif Raymond's probably my favorite. I've been talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he has just done nothing. He has done absolutely nothing. I think Khalif Raymond ended up having 2 bad games. One game was with no catches against Minnesota. Could have been a fluke. And I don't know who Slay might be shadowing Hawkinson, because I think he's probably their biggest threat. But if Darius Slay shadows Raymond, it's not going to be good. And it'll probably be a big Hawkinson game at that point. Whichever one Slay's on, then Slay could go and shadow Hawkinson. That's kind of what Darius Slay does. He's been a shutdown corner ever since he was with the Lions. So, but those are the 2 people I'm starting. Definitely Hawkinson. And then if you need a player, Khalif Raymond. Khalif Raymond and Devontae Smith are probably even for me right now. So that's where I have kind of Devontae Smith. But I only have Khalif Raymond that high as well because he's the only option that they have right now that's been consistent. Because Tyrell Williams isn't there. So, well, he is, but he's hurt. Anyway. Titans, Colts. I like, for the Colts, Michael Pittman. Even if T.Y. Hilton plays, I still like Pittman because I really think that no T.Y. has helped Wentz rely on Pittman a lot and trust him with deep balls, jump balls. Obviously, T.Y. is not doing that. T.Y. is going to get the short little routes or he's going to take the top off of a defense, and that's how T.Y. is going to get his points, what he did when he was with Andrew Luck, so on and so forth. So, you're starting Jonathan Taylor. Again, if you're desperate, you're starting Mo Alley Cox over any Titans tight end and over any Texans tight end, over the Seahawks tight ends, over the Saints tight ends, over Tyler Conklin. Like, if you're in a non-PPR league, I feel more comfortable starting Cox because he's been getting touchdowns. He's been efficient with what he's been getting, but it's very hard for him to keep that up because he's not running all the routes. He's not playing all the snaps. And it's a situation. Now, mind you, he's capitalizing on his situations, but he's not getting enough of those opportunities. So you want to see him get more of those opportunities before you trust him as like an every game kind of thing. This is just literally like you had Gronk, you had Darren Waller, you picked up Mo Alley Cox for some random reason because then I don't even know. I don't even know. Maybe you drafted Anthony Firsker from Tennessee thinking he was going to do something, and you're like, oh, this is not good. Or maybe you're doing a streaming tight end thing. That happens. This is kind of one of those things that I think you can do. So, there you have it. I do like Carson Wentz over Tannehill. I like Carson Wentz over, Trevor Lawrence, over Taylor Heineke, because I think I have a weird feeling about this game that it's going to end up being a higher scoring game than most people think. And Wentz has shown you that he's coming back to being able to throw the ball. He's gaining more confidence. He's understanding the offense again. He doesn't have 2 sprained ankles anymore. He trusts his tight end. He trusts the receivers. They have a running game. All the things that made him successful in Philadelphia, he has now, as well as the coach in Indianapolis. So I like Carson a lot. He's shown you he can run the ball again. He's been picking up some yards on the ground, some crucial third downs. So he's been gaining yards on long second downs. So the bootlegs are options now down in the red zone because you have Jonathan Taylor. Carson bootlegs it out, naked bootleg, and he's good to go for the touchdown. So I like him. I like him a lot. I don't trust Ryan Tannehill this week. Have it in a couple weeks. You're loading up A.J. Brown, and you're loading up Derrick Henry. That's it. I'm not playing Julio Jones. You're going to get burned by Julio again, and I've been saying it for a couple weeks. You're going to end up starting Julio when Julio... It's going to be too late. You're going to have Julio on your bench, I'm saying, and then that's when Julio's going to go off, and you're going to be like, oh, man, I lost by like 10 points. If I would have started Julio Jones, over Chase Claypool, I would have won. I don't know what to tell you. I don't. I think Chase Claypool gives you a better opportunity to win right now over Julio Jones. That's what it is. That's where I have them. So, but that's it. Derrick Henry. Oh, you guys remember Travis Henry? Derrick Henry. A.J. Brown. That's it. Next game. It should be a blowout, but I don't know because Houston decides to show up whenever they want. It's the Rams against the Texans. You're firing up Stafford, Henderson, Kupp. I mean, Dan Arnold had a decent game. I believe Njoku had a good game against the Texans. I think did Trimble have the touchdown against the Texans? I'm not 100% sure if Trimble had the touchdown against the Texans. He had the rushing touchdown against the Texans. They're okay against tight ends, but I don't. Look, if you have Higbee, for the simple chance of the offense is just explosive and probably going to put up a lot of points, they're probably going to get people involved. He can fall into the end zone. He can get a couple catches for a couple yards. So sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze there. So you could play Higbee. You're probably going to play Woods again, just because you drafted him high. Like Robert Woods was going before Cooper Kupp in some drafts, and Kupp has 56 catches, 809 yards, and 9 touchdowns. He's absolutely killing it. Absolutely killing it. But I don't blame you if you don't want to start him. Like, you might want to start Cortland Sutton, Michael Pittman over, Robert Woods. Those types of players. Chris Godwin, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. I still don't really probably like Adam Thielen over Woods, but I mean, he did have a coming out party the last time he played, so he may be getting more and more confidence there, especially if the Cowboys decide to try to take away Justin Jefferson. Thielen could probably have a better game. So Thielen over, Robert Woods. Robert Woods is going to burn you again, man. He could probably fall into the end zone and get a late touchdown because they're blowing him out, and it just so happens that they gave up and he's open and Stafford's like, oh, here you go. Like, I don't know. Just saying. But that's really it. You're loading up the top 3 guys: Darrell Henderson, Matt Stafford, and Cooper Kupp. No questions asked. Patriots Chargers. Damian Harris. You're loading up. Oh gosh. See, this is tough for me because I like Mack Jones, but what Bill Belichick does is Bill Belichick takes away something from you. Now, if Austin Eckler doesn't play, keep that in mind, who's ever listening right now to the podcast or watching. Austin Eckler came on the injury report late Thursday with a hip injury, and I think he was limited on Thursday, and then did not practice on Friday. That is huge news. Eckler may not play. Justin Jackson outplayed Joshua Kelly. I like Jackson if that happens. Also, be very careful because if Eckler is active, he still may not play. You got to kind of see what they say when they go to the game to see the report and they talk to the, coach said, we're going to have Eckler on a snap count. Like, okay, is that true? Is that not? Or we're going to monitor it throughout the game and, he might take some series off or whatever. Like, I don't know if he'll play because, again, it was late in the week. And whenever people end up, it's just they usually don't play when they're on the late report. It could happen where it's a precautionary thing, and they're like, "Look, bro, don't get hurt. We're not trying to, ruin our chances and lose to the Patriots. We don't want to do that, or we don't want to lose you longer. Let's just sit this out, and you'll be okay." So, I like Mack Jones if this game gets out of hand. I think they're going to try to shut down Mike Williams because he's their most explosive player. So I like a bigger game from Keenan Allen and Jared Cook. But if this game gets out of hand early, Mack Jones has shown you he can throw the ball and keep up. Week by week, the playbook's been opened up more and more with what he can and cannot do. Mack Jones is a sneaky play here if you're streaming quarterbacks or Derek Carr's on a bye, Lamar Jackson, and you don't have other people because it just so happens that you took the one and you're like, I'll get one when they're on a bye week. I like Mack Jones as a sneaky play. I do. Like I said, Damian Harris, Kendrick Bourne. In a dynasty league, if you can get your hands on Kendrick Bourne, I like Kendrick Bourne. He has shown some rapport with Mack Jones early. Now, Jacoby Myers is a slot guy, and I've said this over and over again. He's going to be the guy that ends up getting you more and more catches. However, Kendrick Bourne is the guy to have. I had like a brain fart. I forgot what I was going to say. Kendrick Bourne has the potential to be that over-the-top guy. You saw it against Trayvon Diggs, the shutdown corner of Trayvon Diggs. He gets burned on that play. You just see him getting those down the field plays. His average depth per target, is high. He's the guy. He can take it to the house. They spent a lot of money on him from San Francisco. He's worth every penny. He's gonna end up being that next guy that just goes with it. I firmly believe if you could pick up Kendrick Bourne, if you have a roster spot, I'm in 2 leagues where you have practice squad spots. I like him later in the season, especially, but I think the next game or two, he's going to have a breakout game, and I think he's going to end up having over 150 yards and like 3 touchdowns or 2 touchdowns in one game. I really do. I really think that's, how it's gonna go for him in my opinion. I want to take a look real quick and see. He has 22 receptions for 350 yards and 2 touchdowns. His average yardage per catch is just under 16 yards. His yards after catch are 150. Brandon Bolden has more because he's a running back or whatever the case may be. Out of his 28 targets, he's caught the ball 22 times. I'm just saying, I think it's a good idea to look at Kendrick Bourne if you can stash him. I don't know why. I just have this gut feeling that it's going to be Kendrick Bourne. That's going to be the guy. Don't ask me why. It's just, like I said, a gut feeling. A couple weeks ago on my buddy's podcast on Stack Attack, I talked about Kadarius Toney, the Saints game, I think it was. I said, he's going to do something. And then he breaks out against the Cowboys and he gets hurt. Or not the Saints game. It was the game before. And then it was the Cowboys game. And then the Saints game, he had the Rams game, he had a couple catches. I'm sorry. It was the Saints and then the Cowboys. And then he got hurt against the Rams. It's just a feeling. I am a nobody guy. I don't have any insider information. It's just from what I've seen in the games that leads me to believe that, and the money, he's going to be that guy, that Randy Moss-esque player. Now, I say Randy Moss-esque because he's clearly not Randy Moss, but he's that Devontae Smith. He's that, like, take the top off the defense kind of guy. Cortland Sutton, T.Y. Hilton. But he can also catch the ball short and take it to the house just like these guys can. He's a complete player. He's just in San Francisco and they don't know how to use anybody because, Kyle Shanahan's riding on his dad's coattails. But anyway, where was I? Yes, Patriots Chargers. And Hunter Henry. He's just been consistent. Jonnu Smith has been playing now. He was practicing, so just be careful with that. But Hunter Henry has been, doing his thing. Chargers, I believe, don't play the tight ends the greatest, so they could both have decent games. But Kendrick Bourne, remember that. Chargers, keep in mind Eckler. If Justin Jackson is the running back, I still think they're just going to end up passing the ball a lot. He might end up falling into the end zone, but I just think it's going to be too much of a split backfield, I think. Mike Williams, I think, is the guy that they take away. I think Jared Cook and Keenan Allen end up having bigger games, just because they're going to try to take away the top of the top from Mike Williams, so he doesn't get behind him. And Keenan Allen's a slot guy, so expect a lot of like tight end stuff, like tight end posts, tight end outs, things to the sidelines, and Keenan Allen in the middle of the field. It's going to be what it's going to be. Jaguar Seahawks, another barn burner, man. Another barn burner. This is going to be a low scoring affair. This could be the Geno Smith throw it out in the yard game. Trevor Lawrence is going to have a good game. It's going to be a good I want to see Trevor Lawrence against Bobby Wagner. I think that's going to be a really good matchup. Is he going to be able to understand what Bobby Wagner and everything is doing? And if Bobby Wagner diagnoses what Trevor Lawrence is doing, I think it's going to be, if Trevor Lawrence can come out on top and they can win this game, which just because of it's a Geno Smith thing, I think that the Seahawks just aren't going to be able to put up enough points. The Seahawks are going to get their stops on the Jaguars, but I just don't think their offense is going to be able to do enough. It's going to be interesting. They're also going to probably try to keep the ball out of Lawrence's hands. A lot of Robinson. You're going to see a lot of Robinson. I also think the coaching handshake should be funny too, Carroll and Meyer. But I'm not too happy about this game. Obviously, if you drafted Lockett, you're gonna start Lockett. I'm not happy about it, but it's just too boom or bust. I think the receiver to play here in these games, the best receiver is DK. Geno has just shown he's been able to hit DK a little bit more on passes. Trust him a little bit more, big body. Geno Smith had the big, strong arm. So Marvin Jones is probably the receiver I want as well in Jacksonville if you need a receiver. I do like Marvin Jones. He's a man's man. He's a professional. He goes out, does his work, gets the job done. He's going to catch the ball, going to get you a touchdown or two. It's just what he does, man. He shows up, shuts up, and does work. But again, this isn't going to be the greatest game. Alex Collins, if you have him, and Rashad Penny. I'm not happy about starting Penny. I'd rather start Collins. The Seahawks and Pete Carroll have shown you that he wants to run the ball, and he wants to run the ball a lot and take a lot of pressure off Geno Smith. But I think this game he has the opportunity to kind of open it up for Geno a little bit, take some shots. So you're not starting Geno, though. Next game, Washington and Denver. Yeah, there's a lot of bad games this week. This is just another one. Teddy Bridgewater, hopefully, this could be his get-right game. Jerry Jeudy's supposed to be back. If you have Jeudy, you can take a chance. We don't know what they're going to be. If they're going to see, have him on a snap count, have him, you just don't know because he's coming off. He may not be in game shape. He's been out since like week 2. So he's been out for a while. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, if Jerry Jeudy's full go and they're like, yeah, no, all systems go, you're going to plug him in. Washington's defense is terrible. Everybody's seen it. It is what it is. But, we'll see. I really like Sutton this week as well, just for the simple fact of he's been playing so well. He really has been. He's been their best receiver, the down the field guy. He's looking like he did his rookie season. If you have him in a league, it was a great pickup. It's a little slow, a little consistent, but he's definitely had his games. He's going to get you some catches. He made a great catch last week. I really like Sutton, and I think he's going to continue to have a good game. If you have Cortland Sutton, if you're in a 10-team league, you probably have other players you can play over Sutton. But if you're in a 12-team to 14-team league and you have Sutton or a deeper league, play him, load him up. I think he's going to be in for another big game this week. If you have Tim Patrick, bench him, drop him, trade him, something. Judy's back. They like Noah Fant. The Washington's bad against tight ends. And Cortland Sutton. And 2 running backs. I think Tim Patrick's days are numbered as a top target there. But we'll see. He's still a third receiver. Shit happens. He can still catch some stuff, but I'm not playing him if I have him. And I don't have him in any of my leagues. I wasn't in a rush to pick him up. I wasn't in a rush to trade for him. Nothing. Because you knew Judy was coming back. And technically the Broncos still want to be able to have some remnants of a running game. So that's that. You're starting Javonte Williams, and you're probably still going to start Gordon, depending on where you took them. You missed out on some other running backs. I like it. Just give the ball to Williams the whole time. Stop giving it to Gordon. Stop. You trade Gordon to I don't know. Trade Gordon to Houston. There's speaking of Lions, you're starting DeAndre Swift. Sorry. Trade him to the Dolphins or the Falcons. Trade Melvin Gordon to the Falcons. There you go. This way, Cordero Patterson can have something. Mike Davis is done, and you just call it a day. Put Mike Davis behind Javonte Williams, and you career backup. Boom. Washington, starting Heineke. Von Miller's supposed to possibly come back for Denver. We don't know yet. We'll see what happens. But Washington's defense is just so bad. Heineke can boardle it up for you and just get you some garbage time points. He ran for 95 yards last week. He should have had a rushing touchdown. Starting Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson. J.D. McKissick, technically, according to his pattern, he should have a big game. Clearly, yeah, I don't know. I think it's Gibson, though. And you're streaming Bridgewater or Heineke. That's all you're doing. You're streaming them. That's it. Over Jacksonville, Seattle's guys, over Davis Mills, over Ryan Tannehill, over Jared Goff, over any of the Steelers Browns quarterbacks, any of the 49ers Bears, over Sam Darnold, over Zach Wilson. That's what you're doing with those guys. So again, if you're streaming and you don't have anybody, you're going to stream Heineke and Bridgewater, and they should give you some good points. They'll probably get you at least 16 to 25 points, each of them, I think. And Noah Fant, loading him up, and Ricky Seals-Jones. If you had Logan Thomas and you picked up Ricky Seals-Jones, obviously you're playing him in until Logan Thomas comes back. Ricky, RSJ. And Noah Fant, man, he's a freaking nature too. Just a great athlete, catches the ball, does stuff. Great guy. Bucs Saints. This should be a fantastic game. I'm very interested to see this. This is a revenge game for Jameis Winston. That does not mean that he's going to light it up, because he's probably not. Because, I don't know, they know him. However, it is the first time that a big game in New Orleans, they played Tom Brady well. They played Tom Brady 3 times last year. The only bad game, I believe, was the playoff game. And Marshawn Lattimore is going to be shadowing Mike Evans. That scares me. If you can't play somebody else over Mike Evans, I would start Cortland Sutton over Evans. I would start, CeeDee Lamb over Evans. Maybe Amari Cooper. You could even go as low as like Pittman over Evans. Dude, Marshawn Lattimore has shut down Mike Evans. Like, shut him down. Shut down. So, we'll see how it goes. Give me one sec. There's a trade coming in one of my leagues. I'm going to tell you guys possibly the trade in a second. Hold on, though. So, yeah, Marshawn Lattimore against Mike Evans. Just, I don't know. But yeah, if you have Mike Evans, I have Mike Evans in one league. I don't know if I have anybody else I can start over him, but I'm thinking about it. All right. I'm just saying. I'm trying to trade him if I can, because if I'm not gonna be able to move him next week if he does bad against Marshawn Lattimore. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't trust it. Marquez Callaway, don't trust him. It's just Alvin Kamara. Winston, again, depending on what your streaming situation is or your quarterback situation on buys, if you picked him up or a 2-quarterback league, you're obviously going to play him. It's a revenge game, so I expect him to do well and want to make the smart decision and win. He's going to want to win. He's going to want to show them. He's going to want to sling it around and show them, look, I don't throw interceptions, but I throw 5 touchdowns. So, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, just Kamara, really. You're going to get burned by Callaway. Michael Thomas hopefully comes back soon for the Saints, so you'll see. But no Antonio Brown for the Bucks. Chris Godwin, big game, and if Gronk comes back, big game. Now, this is a hometown-ish game for Fournette, being from the Louisiana area, going to LSU. However, the Saints defense is really good at stopping the run. Like, really good at stopping the run, okay? So, keep that in mind. Just saying, you have Fournette, you're starting Fournette. You're doing it because the running backs have been the freaking disaster. So you have Fournette, you're starting him, no questions asked. He could lose it for you though if depending on because he might not do that well. So we shall see. We shall definitely see. And if Gronk plays, you're going to load up Gronk because, again, Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Evans, I see it being a really, 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 really big Chris Godwin game. Like, DFS, start him, load him up, like Chris Godwin all the way. Just throwing it out there. Next, we're going to go Cowboys Vikings. We're going to start off with Dak Prescott might not play. Dak Prescott strained his calf, I believe, 2 weeks ago. He was seen in a walking boot after the game, after the press conference. And yeah, sad to say. Practice didn't go too well today, from my understanding. He was sore. They had to slow it down, step it up. He was tender. So the Vikings were underdogs by 3.5, and now the Vikings are favored by 3. So either Vegas is trying to switch the odds a little bit and get people to throw more money down on Minnesota because there's not going to be Dak Prescott, but we're going to see. See if this Cowboys defense is what it's supposed to be. That's what this game is going to be for the Cowboys defense. If Dak Prescott does not play, it's put up or shut up. If Kirk Cousins goes out there and carves you up, I don't want to hear a damn thing about it from any Cowboys fans about their defense. All right? This is also the week that Trayvon Diggs, his interception little streak, comes to an end. Because Justin Jefferson don't drop shit. And neither does Adam Thielen. Nothing. No tip interceptions. He better. And I want him. You don't understand. This is beyond being a Giants fan. Well beyond being a Giants fan. Okay? I want Trayvon Diggs to just get shit on. I do. The man needs to be humbled. The people need to realize he's not that good. There's rookies that have better coverage numbers than he does. But people get so enamored in falling in love with the INTs, the interceptions, that, he's a shutdown cornerback. No, you have those interceptions because people don't think you're a good cornerback. They're throwing it to you, challenging you, and the receivers fall down or they drop the ball and you're there. This wouldn't be a conversation if you just had 3 interceptions, the 3 that you actually earned. Anyway, still on that soapbox, just because I think it's bullshit that people are all over Trayvon Diggs because of a number of interceptions. Darius Slay has better coverage numbers. Patrick Surtain has better coverage numbers. Hell, I'd even have Asante Samuel Jr. You guys know Nnamdi Asomugha? It was him and Darrelle Revis for who was the best cornerback in all of football. And I know I said this a couple weeks ago. People kept challenging Revis, which is why he always had interceptions and they stopped. They never threw the ball on Nnamdi Asomugha's side. Ever. Ever. Diggs does not shadow anybody. He cannot cover that many people. Make him a free safety. Let him use his soft hands that he got it as a wide receiver to intercept the ball in the deep patterns. That's what he should be. He would probably excel in that and be really freaking good. Just saying. Anyway. Dalvin Cook, load him up. Adam Thielen, load him up. Justin Jefferson, load him up. They want to. The Vikings lost because of 2 field goals. They could be 5-1. I think they want to just go in and show them, like, we're here. Cowboys ain't shit. We're here. They are going to probably try to run the ball. It's going to be a good running back matchup, Zeke against Cook. But I think Thielen's still going to have a big game. Jefferson's going to get his. The big 3. But if you have Thielen, I would start him. I feel confident this game. Excuse me. You're starting Zeke. You're starting CD. You're starting Schultz. If Dak does not play, you're still starting CD. You're still starting Schultz. You're definitely not starting Cooper. You're starting Cooper as a flex with Dak, but only with Dak. If there's no Dak, I'm not starting Cooper. Simple as that. And then we get to my game. Chiefs, Giants. This should be a banger of a game. Monday night national television. From a football perspective, I want to see what Louis Riddick has to say. I've been telling a couple people this week. I want to see how Louis Riddick, what he does and what he says about the Giants. I want to hear him talk about Daniel Jones. I want to hear him talk about Joe Judge. Because if he says, Joe Judge is really, from getting slaughtered against the Rams to coming back and beating Carolina when you weren't supposed to, you really has these guys still buying into what he's trying to do. And, Daniel Jones, other than the Rams game when he came back from a concussion against the Cowboys, probably shouldn't have played. But he's taking strides. He hasn't had the interception, the turnover issues anymore. He's really shown you he can win with anybody as a wide receiver, regardless of the opponent right now. Yes, you play Carolina. Yes, they're supposed to have this really good defense. But Daniel Jones went out there with nobody and won the game. The defense stepped up. The defense, major contributor to that win, if not the biggest factor to that win. But somebody still has to throw the ball on offense. I like Danny Dimes because the Chiefs defense is terrible. Starting him in a 2-quarterback league, him and Jalen Hurts, they could win me this week massively. They could literally both drop 30 and I'm sitting pretty. Not crazy about Devontae Booker just because I think it's going to be such a blowout that the Giants just got to throw the ball. Obviously, if you had Saquon, you have Booker, you're going to start Booker. He's going to get good numbers, but there's other options out there. I like him over Hubbard. I like him over Melvin Gordon. I like him over, over Seattle's running, over Alex Collins, probably, over any Texans running backs, over, that's really it. I probably could, Booker over Gaskin, Booker over any of the Bills running backs, and then Booker over Michael Carter. So, because he can catch the ball. He showed you he can catch the ball. He showed you in Oakland / Las Vegas. He can catch the ball. He's a talented running back. He's just behind Saquon Barkley. If any of the Giants receivers are playing this game, Shep, Galladay, Tony. Preferably Tony, to be completely honest with you, because he's just going to be all over the place. Just load him up, man. The Chiefs defense is just atrocious. And if they don't play Dante Pettis for DFS, or if you need a deep sleeper because somebody gets hurt in one of these games, you're like, oh shit, I got to drop somebody. Somebody's not active. I thought they were. Dante Pettis, if the other receivers aren't playing. If it's just Tony, you still probably could go with Pettis. If it's just Tony back or just Galladay or just Shep, because then he's still the third option behind Slayton. I still like Pettis in that case, but if two of them are back, you're not starting Pettis. Chiefs, you're starting Mahomes, you're starting Darrell Williams, you're starting Tyreek Hill, you're starting Travis Kelce. The usual people, just because it's the usual people and it's the Giants. So Giants defense has been atrocious, except for last game, but that was Sam Darnold. If the Giants can get pressure like they did against Carolina and force Mahomes to make those errant throws and try to do too much, that's very good for them from a football perspective, not a good Patrick Mahomes perspective. However, Tyreek Hill is going to probably have about 3 touchdowns because the Giants can't cover anybody. But yeah, we shall see. This is a smaller bye week. 2 teams are on bye, but yeah, man, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. We shall see how it goes. I'm going to try. I didn't do my bets last week. I'm going to try do my bets this week. I do feel bad about that. Kind of unfortunately had a softball injury last weekend. Playing softball on Sunday morning, so it kind of derailed my day a little bit. I had to go get some ice on it, put the swelling down, wrap it up. So by the time I had gotten home, it was just about 1 o'clock. Had to take care of the wife's fantasy football stuff and get her lineup switched. But we'll see. Real quick, these are some of my rankings. I did take the rankings from one of the sites, and then I just moved them around myself with what I thought they were, because I wasn't going to type in everybody's name. It was the quickest way, so that's what I did. This is kind of what I like. Oh, for some reason, the Joe Burrow thing, I must have hit Control-Z too many times. I would move Joe Burrow up, especially over Dak, especially over Tom Brady. I'm going to take Kyler Murray out, so everybody's going to automatically move up one. But that's pretty much where I am with all of my rankings. You can see here, Boston Scott all the way at the bottom. J.J. Taylor. Oh, also, take a look at Jeremy McNichols. Darrynton Evans from Tennessee is back on the IR. So if Derrick Henry does get hurt, McNichols is going to be the guy, because it's his second stint on the IR. He's done for the season, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, this is the running backs. Again, New Orleans is a very good run defense. The only reason he's not higher. So do like Deontay Johnson a lot this week against Cleveland. Calvin Ridley, he's good. He's there. See, Adam Thielen's gonna have a good game. I just know these things, man. And then Higbee as a top 10, because they're playing Houston, so they should be able to do something. You really hope that they can, and see what happens. But kickers I have ranked as well. Bass being the best one because he's on Buffalo. Rams are playing Houston. Bills against Miami. Bengals against Jets. 49ers against Chicago. Those are the defenses. So you can pause it if you're watching it on YouTube or if you're watching it on Twitch or on Facebook. See the rankings. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys coming by. Whoever came by. Obviously, it always means a whole lot to me. Greatly appreciate it. Going to be keeping my calls, for the week that I had talked about, who's going to go off, who's not going to go off. We're going to keep track of all that stuff. But yeah, guys, I appreciate it. As always, thanks for listening to another episode of the Sports Euphoria podcast. Within the next, half hour, this is going to be live, up on YouTube and up on anywhere you get podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor. It's all going to be there within the next probably 15, 20 minutes. So bear with me there. If you're coming on the tail end and you want to see the beginning, you can just listen to it there, or you can watch the video on demand or VOD on Twitch, or I don't think it may save on Facebook, or you can go to my Sports Euphoria page on Facebook as well. But we'll see what's going. Guys, have a great one. I hope you have a great weekend. Hope you have a great Friday night. Hope you have a great Saturday, depending on when you're listening to this. We're going to say go Michigan, go Giants, and I will be talking to you guys either Monday or Tuesday. Have a great one, and let's win the week, baby. Later.